Good evening, folks. This is Andy Pedraza with Special Effects Academy. We're on the start of the week session in the Forex trading room for April 4th of 2021. We will be going through our standard agenda, look at the prior week, our currency strength meter, fundamental announcements on the calendar for the week, a look at major pairs on the daily charts, any setups we see in progress, and a few words in conclusion. Also, we will be doing a special session to review the monthly charts very soon for subscribers only. So stay tuned for that. It'll be sometime this week. Decided to have a regular session today, and we'll do the monthly review, or rather, a review of the monthly charts a little bit later in the week. I have all the material ready. I just wanted to do that as a separate session. Looking at the ledgers, the long-term ledger, um, we have no movement at all. The only movement we've had so far is swap cost, as you can see in that column next to last. Otherwise, the same trades open we had from the prior weeks. The intermediate term ledger has had change, and we've actually closed out a few trades, racking up a small amount of profit, a little bit under 3%, which for a week is not bad, but we'll see how everything continues going as we move forward into the new fiscal year. Our fiscal year starts in April, so this is a happy new year for us. So the trades that are highlighted in the red square are the ones that were open last week. Those were closed, one at profit, one at loss, and two earlier trades were closed out, both of them at profit. So collectively, we're up a few percentage points. And the short-term ledger, also no change from prior week, same trade open, and the only change is the swap cost, the cost of holding a trade open. It's sort of like an interest you get charged by the broker for every day that the trade remains on the books. So that column next to last is the one that records that cost. Notes and opportunities for improvement? Well, not much. We just started a fiscal year, so we have had some interesting levels of support resistance being visited or tested, and in some cases, even pierced. We're still under the shadow of COVID globally, of course, as well as a lot of economic and political uncertainty in the United States, ongoing both situations. Relative strength meter for last week, we can see that the yen continues losing ground. That was the biggest mover of the week. Again, we are long on the USD Jpy right now, and the pound JPY as well. So we are trading in that direction. The Swiss and the Aussie and the euro to some degree lost ground. Not much, more of a flat week than anything else. We did see some recovery out of the Kiwi, which was the biggest mover to the top side, followed by the pound, the Canadian, and last but not least, the dollar. Now, the dollar has been staging somewhat of a recovery against most of the crosses. Still too soon to tell whether this is a forewarning of things to come or it's just a regular sideways up and down when the market is consolidating. Fundamental announcement schedule. We have three of them that will be actively traded this week. The Reserve Bank of Australia's interest rate decision Monday night into Tuesday morning. So a little bit after midnight. So technically Tuesday, but for me, it's still Monday night. Wednesday, we have the FOMC minutes out of the Fed here in the US at 2 p.m. And on Friday, we will have the labor report out of Canada. With that, we move on to the charts. Commodities, oil has now started going sideways. It showed a little bit of weakness the week before, and this was somewhat tied to that ship blocking the Suez Canal. That has been opened up once more, but still the market is going sideways at this point. We're waiting for the next move up or down. The experts or talking heads seem to think that oil is still going to rise further. I happen to agree with them, but we'll see exactly what oil prices do in weeks to come. Major pairs, the euro dollar retreated previous high about 123.5, now to 117.5. So quite a nice drop of about 600 pips. It did go sideways for an extended period, finally broke support, tested it, and then dropped to the next level of support. It ended the week trying to recover, moving back up, but very, very small move compared to the previous drop. So as I said before, the dollar has been showing some measure of strength, but it's not out of the woods yet. And as you can see, the chart is still very much at the upper half of price action and still has a ways to go before we can think of a dollar recovery. Pound dollar, same thing. It is off its high of 142.25, give or take a few pips, dropping all the way to 137 at one point and now back above 138. Much like the euro dollar, it showed a dollar strength and a little bit of pound weakness as well, but it was not as deep as with the pound or with the euro dollar, I should say, and it is still very much following that upward trend line. So it's definitely not dollar strength against the pound yet, though it is beginning to look that way. Still, the pound recovering quite nicely in the last week. USD Jpy, of course, has been in a complete rout. It is just breaking out, kept going, created a new level of resistance around the 111 all the way at the top. And we're waiting to see how the week begins, see if we're going to get another week of higher highs. This is just completely unexpected, at least in my regard. And as I like to tell people, we don't trade on my expectations or my beliefs of what the market is going to be doing. We trade on what the market actually does. In this case, we are going long on USD JPY. We have been for a while. USD Canadian recovery from the dollar. You have to see that there. It went all the way to the trend line and pierced it slightly, but around the part of last week, that started failing and it started moving down again. We are short on the USD CAD. I still think the CAD has a ways more to go, and the dollar is, I think, still in a position of greater weakness. USD Swiss, same as the USD JPY, going up, up, up and away, and it still has quite a ways to go to the top of the chart. So unlike the USD JPY, which is already breaking out, this one still not there. Now the Swiss has been weakening. This is not all dollar strength, and in fact, pretty much none of it is. It's mostly Swiss weakness, and that has been playing out for months now. So we'll have to see when that trend ends. But for now, we're in an uptrend and we do need to be following it. Aussie dollar, much like the other dollar pairs, we're seeing dollar strength and it is down several levels of support, being stopped around the 75. I'm going to call it 75.50. That's where it is finding resistance. It's gone sideways, no sign of recovery yet. And indeed, I've indicated before that the Australian dollar may be running out of steam. It was quite a nice recovery after about 2 years of just being in the dumps. Staged quite a nice recovery over 2020 and is still ongoing. And we have to wait and see if that is going to reverse itself or rather continue into higher highs. Too soon to tell. And we just have to wait and see what price action and the charts are going to tell us we should be going. Kiwi dollar, same thing, a little bit more of a drop, and I think a better opportunity to trade it back up as well. I think this one moved a little bit too much. And even if ultimately the dollar is going to end up winning the fight in the next few months, I think this was an extreme move and there will be a retracement at some point. Maybe not all the way to the top, but even halfway there is still a pretty nice opportunity. With that, we move pairs. Now we have the Aussie CAD breaking support, testing support, and continuing to head down. It's now in a downtrend, and I would think that with the Aussie weakness we've been seeing in the market, plus the Canadian strength, and there's many reasons why the Canadian should be strong. This one's a good candidate to trade all the way to the bottom. It does have one more trend line to break, a pretty major one coming back from wherever. And in essence, it's a wedge. If it breaks out of the bottom of that wedge, we're going to have an opportunity for about 500 pips quite easily. Euro Swiss breaking out towards the top in the last month and then hit the snooze button and has been going sideways. It's been reluctant to move too far up, too far down. We are trying to trade it up at least past the top of the chart, which I think there's still a pretty good chance it will do that. And those trades have been open for quite a while now. I'm still going to give them some time. But at any point, if I don't like the look at them, we will be closing them out. Euro pound breaking the bottom, but not with any convincing move. It's just a slow slide towards the bottom, towards that trend line. I think that euro strength will be coming back into play at some point. It really depends how long it's going to. Pound strength, of course, still there, but I think in the grand scheme of things, this one needs to make it back towards the middle of the chart at the very least, and we'll be on the lookout for that. Euro JPY uptrend. There's no other way of looking at this chart except uptrend. It's broken the top yet again in the last week, and we're looking to see if we get the higher highs. I think we're already trading this one up in one of the accounts. Euro Canadian, and again, Canadian pair breaking the bottom of the chart, but not going much deeper and trying to recover Thursday and Friday. This is another one where I think the move might have been a little bit too extreme, and we might have the opportunity to trade it back up into that blue channel that you see there on the charts. Doesn't need to go all the way to the top. Even if it goes just to the bottom of the channel, that's still a nice 300, 400 pips right there. And of course, it could very well go deeper. But again, time will tell. I want to see the move start before we jump in. Pound JPY, and it's a yen pair, of course. The yen has been weakening, the pound has been strengthening. So this chart should be no surprise. It's breaking out of a wedge. We are trading this one up right now for the, I don't know, third or fourth time. We've been tracking this trend for quite a while now. It looks like we're in a breakout again. This week will be key as we see exactly what it plans on doing. There are no fundamentals expected from the UK or Japan, so there's nothing in the decision or announcement cycle that can spook it. It's just going to be a trend, and have to see how far it goes. Aussie JPY, again, yen weakness, but we're also seeing Aussie weakness. Otherwise, this thing would have broken the top already and kept going. So on any slight strength from either one, Aussie or JPY, this one is going to move very fast. The problem is we don't know in which direction. So one of the things we're going to do this week in our trading is set up a straddle to take us in either way. But this is definitely a pair I want to trade. Euro New Zealand dropping quite nicely now after breaching the top, and we were trading this one, I should say. We probably will get back into this trade. It does look like there's a pretty good chance of it dropping back below the trend line. And of course, I have to look and see how the week kicks off. But this is another one that's high on my radar. Pound Canadian going every which direction and no rhyme or reason. And that's basically because both the pound and the Canadian dollar have been showing strength. So they're pretty evenly matched right now, establishing a new trading range towards the bottom of a channel, a widening channel you can see coming from the bottom up, like expanding cone. So we might have a trip back towards the top of the channel, might not. If it breaks the bottom, we're going to go in short, but I sort of doubt that's what's going to happen. Pound Swiss breaking the top. And again, we mentioned this before. There is a significant level of Swiss weakness. So that explains this. And of course, we have pound strength at the same time. This is another one that is a pretty good opportunity to trade it up and away. The resistance levels on the weekly offer quite a decent amount of pin. And last but not least, pound Aussie breaking out of a wedge. Quite a bouncy mover, though. You can see that on Thursday it went really high and then just collapsed. Friday went in both directions, ultimately didn't move at all from where it started. Definitely a bullish week. It's in a breakout, and we've got to take a look at this one. But another one, I want to see how the week kicks off to see if we're going to get an opportunity. there's about, I'm going to say 300 to 600 pips to be had here, depending how far, and of course, it could go up as far as it wants. It could go up 2,000. There is no limit, but I think realistically, we're looking at a trip towards the top of the chart as our immediate target. That's it for the chart setups we see in progress. Of course, the pound pairs, I already said that. The pound has been moving into strength quite convincingly and shows no sign of stopping. The dollar pairs, the dollar is sideways with a small recovery, but a recovery nonetheless. We have to wait and see when that ends, or if it's just going to get stronger and stronger. The market is not rational. It doesn't matter if the US is in the pits. If the market likes the dollar is going to go up. We've got to take that into account and wait for the charts to tell us where we should jump in. The Australian, and I said it before, so no need to say it too much here, but it is weakening very slowly, showing that it is starting to fizzle out. The yen in a complete rout, also don't need to say it, we've covered that already. And last but not least, also said before, the Canadian trending nicely bullish and gaining momentum. And that is it for this session. Final words here. It is a new year. Our fiscal year runs from the first week of April to the last week of March of the following year. So we just ended a fiscal year. This week that just ended was the first week of our new fiscal. We have instituted changes in our tactics and methods as we routinely do, not just at fiscal year end. We do adapt and change our methods as necessary as market conditions change. The idea is to be improving over time as well as adapting to changing markets. What's going to work for any given period is not going to work forever. Trading is never static. That's where most people make a huge mistake. They think they need to learn a certain method and then they're going to use it forever. That is not the way it works. Indeed, trading is one of the most dynamic pursuits out of there. Every day is a new day. Every month, you'll see changing conditions, and you need to adapt your trading to those conditions. And don't be afraid of losses. Losses are natural, they are inevitable. Don't ignore them either, of course. If you're losing and losing and losing, something needs to change. But there is a vast amount of wealth to be made out there trading. So figure out what's working and do that. If whatever you're doing isn't working, then you need to change that. And we're here for you guys. So that's going to be it for me this session. Do I have any comments or questions from anyone? Okay, folks, thank you very much. Lastly, I hope everybody had a great Easter. Those of you who are of that religious persuasion, a happy Passover if you're Jewish, and a happy Sunday if you're something else. We are all inclusive here. We don't care what you are. We just care that you're here with us. So again, best wishes to everybody, and we'll catch you guys very soon in our next trading session. If you are a subscriber, if not, see you guys next Sunday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.